business owner himself who represents Western North Carolina in our Congress. So what are you hearing from furniture companies in your state about the impact of these tariffs?
Kira, all manufacturers across the country that I'm hearing from right now are excited about this. We've actually got to understand that we finally have a president who's sticking up for the manufacturing middle class. Terrible trade policies have been encouraging investment to flow from the United States to overseas countries, particularly our adversaries, where they have access to cheap labor, currency manipulation, and other trade barriers that just make it very difficult for United States companies to find success in the export market. And instead, we've lowered the barriers systematically to import those products from those countries, and that has just hollowed out our manufacturing base and our manufacturing middle class in this country. From 2001 to 2018, this country lost 3.7 million jobs just to our trade deficit alone. 75% of those came from the manufacturing sector, a large part of which represents the folks who make up my constituency in North Carolina.
All right, and you talk about them being excited, but what about North Carolina company Progressive Furniture? It announced it'll be shutting down and laying off its 30 employees, citing that the higher cost of wood from Mexico is just killing the company. What are you telling companies like Progressive that rely on these suppliers overseas to make their products?
Build it in the United States, source it in the United States. I've got tons of friends who are in the wood production, harvesting, and hardwood sales industries. They're off right now. They've been off for quite some time. I can tell you that those sources of supply are available in the United States. And if we all just stick together, rely on American potential and the capability that we can bring to bear if we all work collectively here for the benefit of not just our middle class, but the benefit of our market economy. It can absolutely be done here. I run multiple companies right here in the United States, employ dozens and dozens and dozens of North Carolinians. I'm telling you, it works. And by the time President Trump is done with this, everyone in America will understand that it works too.
So as you well know, because you're a businessman yourself, North Carolina isn't just home to furniture makers. You've got everything from cars to cancer medicine. Your state exports, what, $7.7 billion of goods to Canada each year. Aren't these companies going to have a harder time selling their products to foreign markets now?
In the short term, but the long-term plan of what President Trump is going to accomplish will be to reduce those barriers, right? I talked about this earlier in the segment, that we have incentivized imports to come into this country with little to no barriers whatsoever, but those countries are not treating us with the same reciprocal respect that we are treating them. They are making it impossible for American manufacturers to export our goods from the United States into their countries because of high tariffs and other barriers and currency manipulation. President Trump is simply coming in and stating we are going to rewrite the rules of the global economy, and we are going to create a level playing field for American businesses to be as successful as the foreign businesses that we've been able to grow over the last 30 years at the expense of the American middle class.
We're hearing short-term pain, long-term gain a lot. And I always follow up by asking whomever says that this time around, and now you have said it as well, how long is short-term in your eyes?
We want this to go as quickly as possible because, as you said, people don't know the rules by which the game is going to be played moving forward. There needs to be more clarity. President Trump and his secretaries are providing that clarity to the American people. But we're saying, look, very clearly, we are going to inject pro-America, pro-growth policies into the global trading apparatus. And that is just fundamentally different than the way that it's been in the future. I hope that all of our allies and even our adversaries realize that the United States is the single largest market economy in the world, and we hold all the cards in this negotiation. So the sooner that they recognize that, the sooner that all of this will end.
Your district is home to a lot of farmers as well who sell soybeans and pork to foreign markets. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins already saying that they might need a bailout. We heard the word bailout. Do you think that that is going to be necessary?
Look, what I think is absolutely crazy is that we're talking about how our farmers are one crop away from bankruptcy when the United States of America has systematically been feeding the world for the last 40 years. I think this highlights that President Trump is exactly right, that our farmers are getting a raw deal, that in large part, producers in general, whether they're farmers or whether they're manufacturers, They have been getting the short end of the stick while everyone else outside of our country has been getting preferential treatment. That's going to stop.
Congressman Patrick Harrington, appreciate your time today.
Hey, thanks for having me.